Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Arshpreet and in today's video we're going to be painting a watercolor rose. And if you enjoy watercolor and calligraphy content, you can also find me on Instagram. So first we have a glass of water, which is really important because we are going to work with watercolors. Now I'm using a round brush. You can use whatever brush you have or whatever feels comfortable for you. Next I have a palette with my watercolors. I'm using crimson, green and yellow ochre. Try to use a watercolor paper, and also all the materials I'm using, you can find the links in the description box below. Now we are using two ways of holding the brush, either at a 90-degree angle or at a 45-degree angle. If holding it somewhere in between feels more comfortable, that's totally fine as well. Just try not to hold the brush too slanted because then the strokes don't come out properly. Now I'm taking the crimson color and diluting it with water. For the first layer of the rose, we want the color to be very light. The next layer that we add on top will be darker, so this first layer is always the lightest. Now let's talk about the two strokes that we will be using for the rose. So basically the stroke is thinner at the edges and slightly thicker in the middle. Okay, now let's move forward and paint a rose. We start by placing a small dot in the center. Then we begin making C-shaped strokes around it, making sure all the strokes are touching each other. Try not to keep the strokes too far apart. We keep moving in circular motions until it starts to look like a rose. As you can see, I'm not adding any more water. That's because the paint already has the right consistency, so there is no need to dilute it further. If at any point you feel like the paint is too watery, it might start creating water patches, and we don't really want that. So in that case, just add a little more color and you're good to go. Okay, so the first layer of the rose is done. Now let's paint one more rose. We'll repeat the same steps again, a dot in the center and C-shaped strokes around it. If you notice too much white space between the strokes, it can start looking a little odd. In that case, fill in those spaces with some color. Too much white space can make the rose look messy or kind of less defined. Once you fill it in slightly, I feel like it starts to look much better. Now we let this dry for a bit until it is about 80% dry. Once it's mostly dry, we take the same crimson color, but this time with less water. This layer is richer and more concentrated. We add this darker color mainly in the center without taking it all the way to the edges. Follow the same C-shaped strokes while also filling in any remaining gaps. Before taking another color, make sure you clean your brush properly so the colors don't mix. Even if your water looks slightly pink from the previous color, that's completely fine. If you rinse your brush properly and keep stirring it in the water for a bit, you'll notice that the brush eventually has clear water on it. Once the brush is clean, Take some green and some yellow ochre and mix them together. I feel like the color is still a little bright, so I add a tiny bit of crimson to it. Make sure the color is not too watery and not too thick. For the leaves, start by drawing a thin line using just the tip of your brush. Then for the leaf itself, use 2 strokes on either side of the line. These strokes are similar to the C stroke but slightly less curved. If you see any white space, you can fill it in. And just like that, your leaf is done. I'm adding a few leaves between the 2 roses. I'm keeping it loose and slightly messy since we are going for a loose floral style. You can also add small stems using the tip of your brush. Now I feel like adding one more darker layer to the rose in the middle. Since it's still a bit wet, I'm just gonna wait for it to dry completely. Again, before switching colors, make sure your brush is properly clean. And yes, the same water is fine, just rinse it well. Alright, that's it for today's video, and if you enjoyed painting the rose with me, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more art content, and let me know in the comments what you would like to see next.